Hello. Hey. Hey. Neutron content. Neutron content. Neutron content. Hey. Boom, 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 boom. It's Tron. That's it. Let's play. Let's get started. Let's play holy shit, Neutron content in 2023, and it doesn't have a chance of Jared Leto inside it. So, Pog. Oh. Tron, 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 Tron. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Is Clue in this? Is there any... I don't know what's even in this. I know it's just Tron. It's also loud. It's kind of loud. Maybe I should turn it down. Mike Bithell, written and directed. Alright. Hope it's good. Hope it's good. Please be good. Welcome to the Grid program. To progress the story, press the next button. You can read at your own pace. Oh god. If you've missed something, there's a chat log on the pause menu. Okay, I set like a text speed up. Maybe we should turn that down. I was just like, let's turn the text speed because, you know, you always want that as fast as possible. Maybe not. Maybe not. There. Press, you can read at your own pace or progress automatically by pressing the... There's a fucking Tron visual novel. This is amazing. Text speed and scale can be adjusted for your comfort and settings. Oh, imposing building. Unmanaged data tree. View. Oh god. There's lore. The repository. The Ark. The Ark? We're on the Ark. What does that mean? With hundreds of cycles of history and hundreds of thousands of citizens, tonight you have a single function: to investigate an explosion within the core repository. Located in the virtual slice district. This is a supposedly public and safe location. In reality, you know that core's control is more insidious than most imagine. This is a political territory, and the air is heavy with demonstrations of power and influence. You are an interloper. An independent program entering a space over which you have no control. The long lifetime of the Ark server and its ever-increasing diversity and cultural branching has led to an unimaginable amount of data generation. After hundreds of cycles, an interesting outcome manifested: the data tree. Data trees are like new things. Ooh. Data trees grow from sustained complex computation They are the inevitable outcome of a world with broad exponential isomorphic output. Put simply, they are nourished and emerge from the complexity of the grid itself. They're like ISOs. Ooh. Like isomorphic programs. You know? This is an emergence in a form even Flynn could not have predicted. He didn't predict most emergence. He just didn't expect that to be a thing. Here. Opposing building. Alright. Core is, for the most part, a pragmatic ruling elite. They rule the population a degree of comfort. They allow the population a degree of comfort and freedom in exchange for protection and the rule of law. There's only one thing Core fears: information. Knowledge of the users, innovation of new code and new praxis, and even programs themselves are looked upon with caution by Core. In its search for full societal harmony, anything that poses a threat is placed in the repository, a secure place for storing secrets and ideas too dangerous to be out in public. Smoke cloud billowing from the repository tonight implies security may not be quite as strong as it once was, and at the very least, someone on the outside might have an explosive interest in its contents. Explosive. Because we're investigating an explosion. How does it continue? What is this? It's a fast forward button. Are you ready to begin program? Yes. Initializing. It's a cold night in the city, nothing new there. You pull your coat tighter, feel the heat of its glow, a small comfort against the brittle rain. Across the park stands a repository. A grand building, it stands sentinel among all surrounding it. This is architecture as power play, a statement made in light and stone. It's also where you'll be working tonight. You step forward, taking in the data trees that flank your path. Suddenly, the screech of tires against asphalt on your left, the rhythmic pulse of a light cycle at full speed. You turn, seeing cold blue light racing towards you. Let's actually turn it down. There's a fucking dude on a light cycle! And now the text speed. Oh my gosh! Hold your ground. Racing towards you, dive out of its way. You throw yourself back, feeling the front of the cycle clip your coat. Laughter now interspersed with the engine roar. 6th generation. Thank the user someone found that entertaining. Since taking power, Core have continued to iterate on the design of the light cycle. 6th generation is faster than its predecessor and removes the wraparound design, providing a greater range of movement for the rider. These qualities have made it the standard light cycle for Core peacekeepers and criminals alike. With growing gulfs between the cultures of the ARK server, different populations have begun to branch their own code and technology. Greater diversity of design will be the inevitable outcome. So, like, things have just kept... Presumably, Core is who, like, took over after Flynn. And this is just stuff that's just, like... This is just happening. Things... The grid has not stopped. I think they called, like, the Tron Legacy one, like, 2nd generation. So I guess, yeah. Yeah, there's no wraparound. 2 more cycles race past. Pursuing the first, their yellow light marks them as Core peacekeepers, enforcers. You doubt it'll end well for the laughing racer. You stand up, brush yourself off. If things ever go off the rails, you'd be good at the games. Good at dodging, anyway. You push forward, more gingerly now. The park has fallen silent again. Good. Look at this dude. At the entrance to the repository stands a slab of a security program. His armor is scuffed and scratched, as is his face. A cruel smirk is attempting to break through his clenched jaw. I like the art. And like how it's done. It's like mix of 2D and 3D. Grish. The adjunct war didn't so much change. The adjunct war? Grish met you? Those trees? Oh shit. Here, but gonna be lurking? Alright, your number is appreciated. Program, you user. Your number is appreciated, user. As revealed his true function, he is a brusque, direct program whose only focus is the execution of his assigned task, protecting the repository and his fellow programs at any cost. If you stay on the right side of Grish, he could be a vital ally. Make an enemy of him, and your time in the repository may be less comfortable. Bit of trouble on the road there, Chief. Wakes you up. Wakes you up. My name is Query? Oh my god, that's amazing. Hell yeah, dude. Hello, my name is Query. I'm the detective today. He laughs. You dodged the light cycle. Long time since I saw someone hit the dirt with that much force. Good reflexes. So where's Grish? I like that. So it says like what choice affected this next dialogue. You dodged light cycle. Long time I saw someone hit the dirt with that much force. Good reflexes. The laughing stops and is replaced by a stern frown. Can I help you? Greetings, program. You get it? You get it, Grish? It's like a clue reference. Greetings, program. Cute. You can tell from the scowl that crosses the program's face that he isn't one for proper greetings. Who are you? You flash your badge, 4 squares arranged in a T. It designates you as a member of the Disciples of Tron. A detective? No boss, no assigned task, but uncovering truths. Professional observer. The Disciples of Tron? Oh, what's this? What could this mean? There's so much shit. I'm already getting way more than I expected. We got new Tron content in 2023. Oh my fucking god. My name's Query. Your boss called me in. Something happened here. Something big enough to bring in outside help. The program is taken aback. He steps away from the door and motions you in. You could have sworn you saw the light in his eyes pulse with frustration. This isn't going to be an easy night. Did I offend you? Let me ask him a question. A query, if you will. No answer. The program slams the door shut behind you, reactivating its glowing lock. No escape. Definitely not going to be an easy night. Disciples of Tron? What's that mean? What are those? Are those just detectives? Probably not. The lobby of the repository is beautiful. It demonstrates the same power as the exterior. Grish hustles you into the elegant space. You note that it is empty, quiet. Beautiful. It is. Are those energy falls? They are. Grish looks tired. Must have already been a long night. He growls. It wasn't my call to bring you in. I had this handled. I was about to begin my investigation. Investigating what? You've been told nothing? Maybe I know more than I'm letting on? I wasn't spawned yesterday. I know an ignorant program when I see one. I've read the codex. Come on, guy. You can tell Grish isn't used to dealing with inquiries like yours. He ushers you past the lobby's vacated front desk towards an elevator. We've moved all non-essential staff to a secure location. I've been ordered to send you up to Prinz. He runs this tower, and he's taken the events of the night very personally. You'd think they'd stolen from his own personal collection. Maybe. Way he sees it, that's exactly what happened. There's been a robbery? That's right. Someone picked tonight to steal something precious from us. Prince will fill you in on the details. I don't know them all yet either. Alright, well now that I'm doing it myself, let's just set it back to normal. Set this text speed back to normal, I mean. I heard the explosion, activated a lockdown and put things in order. Since then, I've been out here, securing the perimeter and waiting for you to show up. Took you long enough. Must take you a long time getting places when you have to keep diving through the curve like that. Not graceful. Wait, back! An elevator. Okay, we got it. I saw the little dot, and I got scared. I lost it. A deceptively simple access point to the rest of the facility, although contingency stairwells exist for emergency access. Interlock system incorporates multiple tracks and cars, allowing access to all areas in the building in an instant. Security is ensured via login codes, with different programs allow different degrees of navigation, and even the smallest details, core establishes control and hierarchy. The elevator will be getting a lot of use tonight as you do your rounds. Why did you go outside? I needed some ventilation. Figured maybe I'd get lucky and see a perp escaping. Space to think. That's right. Didn't get much time to do so. Got interrupted. Grish moves to the elevator. Keypad to its side awaits activation. So you heard the explosion. This sounds like this was not too long ago. He reaches out his hand to the panel. It hovers, a sharp intake of breath. Aye, what? Is there a problem? Aye. Stands in front of the panel looking at it, then back to you. He's confused. Gadgets himself, confusion turning into frustration. Since the explosion, I've been missing things. Memories? Yes. I don't know if it's got anything to do with the explosion, but my memory access is failing me. There are holes. Holes? Your DOT, you said? You can defragment his identity disk, can't you? Recover memories? I can? What? Defragment? With consent, yes. I grant it. Do what needs to be done. Here, take it. Hand you his disk begrudgingly. Defrag. Oh, alright. This is our mini game then. Match data cards to defrag a disk. Drag the circle card into its matching neighbor. Okay. As well as suits, you can match the number. Okay. Drag the 3 card to its neighbor. There are 2 legal move types, adjacent and 3 packets away. I could also do that one because those are both 0. For sure. 3 packets away. Cards cannot cross the top disc. What does that mean? No move is final, undo play at any time. Thank you. Always get that one. Stuck, let the AI make your next move. Limited number of 3 times per puzzle. To complete a puzzle, reduce card count to the target. Pick your own moves from now on. Understood. Those match. Those match. Those match. Complexity lies ahead. Good luck, program. Shit. Okay. As you go back. Oop. So it like crushes it is basically what it does. That one. So we want to crush this one. Gotcha. Memory stored. New disk color white. Ooh, significant number. No. The administrator Prince smiled. Think that's everything. Did you have any questions? Grish shook his head silent. He needed a job. It seemed simple enough. No need to put the new boss off with an unguarded question or comment. You're not the talkative type, I suppose? Good. Prince typed a number into the elevator, stopped himself. You'll need a code, I suppose. Are you a religious program, Grish? Grish grunted, non-committal. I don't ask for utter devotion, but I do expect respect. For myself, for Core, and for the users. Let this be a daily reminder to you of their importance and seniority to us all. Gestured toward the pad and keyed in 1982. 1982. The year Flynn first made contact with the programs, according to the user calendar. A sacred time. Burn it into your memory. Grish did so. He would use this code every centicycle. Oh? 1982. You hand the disc back. Grish takes it, replaces it on his back. Slight pulse in the eyes signals the data refresh. What does this color mean? Got it. Grish gives the slightest of nods. It's the closest you'll be getting to a thank you. Taps the code to the elevator, unlocking it. I've unlocked repeat access rights for you. You'll be able to travel to any location Prince allows. Any other gaps in your memory? Grish grunts. He's clearly frustrated to have shown this weakness to you. You move towards the elevator, but Grish puts out a heavy hand, blocking your path. I'm not going to let you do this without me. I don't need anybody. I do. I work with a lot of programs, and tonight someone attacked them. You're taken aback by the reaction. You need my detachment? I'm sorry. Grish snorts. I don't need sympathy. I need to investigate this case. You push forward, you surprised? I work alone. You refused Grish's help. You'll regret this program. Grish's eyes flare. I'm sorry. I'm going to warn Prince about you, but your lack of respect for how things work here. Steps into the elevator, slams a fist into the panel, and is whisked off. Moments later, the elevator returns, empty. It's time to visit the man who called you here. I work alone. I'm like Batman. Prince may consider this an office, but it's more of a shrine. User memorabilia lines the walls. Memorabilia? How do you get memorabilia of user stuff? By the window, Grish and Prince are speaking in hushed tones. Oh? Yeah, what's going on over here? Grish's collection is as broad as it is impenetrable. Books, recordings, sculptures, and children's toys. You're unsure how many of these items are reconstructions, originals, or replicas. But given that their origin is the outside world, the distinction seems semantic. You may have an opportunity to investigate if Prince leaves, but for now, you don't want to frustrate him by touching his treasures. For the time being, the contents are a mystery. I like this song. So we're dealing with like a religious guy. Emma's got 12 victory royale, 12 crowns, I presume, is what you mean? I got scared. Oh no! Rosa, don't be scared. You gotta have confidence. Believe in yourself. You refuse Grish's help. Grish sees you enter and frowns. He leans towards Prince, says a few more words, then barges past you for the elevator. Oh, a grand window. Outside, you see the vertical slice district. It would have been with my OG crown too. Ooh! So like you would have gotten a win and then gotten a crown after. No, Rosa! You let the pressure take over you. You never give in. Never think about what you have. That's how I get by. And that's how I lose most of my stuff. But you also lost your stuff, so really who can say which way is better. This was the beginning of the city, the first foothold on the Ark server. Don't grin like that. What is the point of doing exclamation mark lurk? Certain bots have it set up so like something happens, like a message or something. I don't have that bot or that like command. So here, no. But other places it might. I'm sure for some people it's just force of habit. And it's also just a good quick designator to be like exclamation mark lurk instead of just typing out a whole ass message. You know. Alex would have liked that. He would have. Fortunately, he's not here, so. Over 1,000 cycles, it has persevered and maintained the aesthetics of Flynn's master server. Tradition defines it. You can imagine why Prince likes the view. Neither am I. I'm gonna drink an icy. Alright, goodbye. Lurk and farted. F. F, indeed. Your work takes you to all corners of the grid, but of all the districts, vertical slice makes you the most uncomfortable. The forced nature of it, of programs miming out traditions they never experienced firsthand. Sometimes you're more sympathetic to automata than you'd like to admit. What the f- There's so many things we gotta know about. Oh shit. There's like a whole world. What are you cooking, Mike Bithell? Oh, look at this dude. I was in a game this whole time I was here. Hello? Oh. Hi. You said, well, I said, unfortunately, Delix isn't here, and you said, neither am I, and then, so I just assumed that's what you left, right? How long was I standing there? What the fuck are you talking about? What, did the people just like leave in the lobby? Did the numbers go down? How is that possible? Prince chuckles. I see you've been making friends. These users may have left us long ago. No, they died. They died. Oh. You were just standing in the middle of on the island. Time to get a crown, BRB. Alright, good luck. Don't die. Sort of defeats the purpose of the game. I mean, exclamation mark clerk. So true, so true. But for programs like Prince, their presence is a truth beyond criticism or question. I like how they still don't truly know if the users exist here on the Ark. What is the Ark? It seems like, is it the server? Is it the grid? It seems more like a side grid, like a second grid. Grid 2. Space Paranoid, or what do they call it? It's just Space Paranoids and what's it called? Kingdom Hearts. This game takes place on Ansem the Wise's server. That's the Ark server. The Ark, just like in fucking Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. It's all connected. It's all connected. Users may have left us long ago, but for programs like Prince, your presence is a truth beyond criticism or question. He is a zealot, and that zealotry makes him as fascinating as he is dangerous. Faith is an unpredictable directive, and one which you find unsettling. Watch this one closely. There's no telling which path he may walk down. So because I refuse to work with Grish, he's gonna go down this path here. This path could lead to other things. Who knows? Very glad you could join us, Query. You come very highly recommended. I do the work. So I've heard. Prince noted your answer. Welcome. Prince steps in front of his desk. He registers your confusion at the bright lights on its surface. A little showy, perhaps? I've been told it looks like a shrine, but much like the users, I enjoy a little theater. You didn't hire me to talk about desks. What happened here? That's a longer conversation, I fear. Prince smiles another smile. It is a smile calculated in its charm, the kind of self-conscious allusion to kindness that you've only ever seen in those with assured authority. You wonder how Grish feels about such subterfuge. Tell me, Query, for whom do you fight? Ooh. I fight for the programs. The smile drops to a slight frown. Your beliefs, troubled Prince, a very modern perspective. Loyalty to your peers is of course admirable, but shaky ground ethically. Programs are so changeable in their whims. And are the users any different, Prince? Didn't win a crown? Okay, Larking. Alright. Already? I mean, I know like half the match died. Did you get into one fight and then just died? Is that what happened there? Rosa. That was way too quick. I got into 3. Excuse me, sorry. Prince steps back into the window. Programs are so changeable in their whims. You don't even know what a user is. You've never even met one. Do you believe the users are steadfast? Have you not heard of Flynn? He's not exactly known for his consistency. Flynn built this world for us, Query. He built us an ark safe from Clue, from his intolerance to our kind. What? We must never forget what we owe, whose grace we rely upon. He saw the potential of the ISOs in our value. What if, oh my gosh, what if it's not that Kevin Flynn built it? What if Sam Flynn fucking built this? Oh my god. What if did Sam Flynn build the Ark? That's the Flynn they're talking about? Your order was created with similar optimism? The Disciples of Tron, possibly. Because this is definitely after Legacy. Like, Disciples of Tron, that's not something you do beforehand. that wasn't something before. Independent seekers of truth in the face of tyranny? It's all very impressive, I'm sure. You too are part of Flynn's design. Do not forget it. He will return. And we owe him everything. Prince noted your answer. We surely do, program. We surely do. I fear that I am increasingly surrounded by a lack of faith. Prince glances at the elevator Grish left through. Grish saw many things in the Adjunct War. I think he carries more scars than the ones we can see. It is then his belief. He's not alone in that. He's entitled to his opinion. His opinion is tolerated. That's not quite the same thing. My interest in the user goes beyond blind faith. I imagine you've noticed my collection. Very impressive. Thank you. Does any piece in particular catch your eye? The currency token? I know what the currency token is. What are the boxes? Those colorful boxes. Prince moves to the shelf, removing a box. This is a form of user entertainment. A video. Stored on an analog magnetic tape. They record fictional performances and share or sell them to each other. He smiles as he looks at the tape. This is apparently one of Flynn's favorites. I've not watched it, but the user on the cover looks heroic enough. It's an identity disc? Prince shakes his head. Nowhere near as precise. Events are shown in an abbreviated fashion in a two-dimensional image. No internal processes are recorded. They are obtuse, abstract. But according to our records, users love them. Prince places the box back on the shelf. Odd. Prince smiles. Indeed. Prince's face stiffens. For the first time, he lets the stress of recent events show on his face. He straightens up, locks eyes with you. Tonight, the unacceptable has occurred. Our repository has been broken into, and our work is in great danger. I'm sure Grish told you about the explosion. Our vault, we have been attacked. I don't know for sure who did this, but I have my suspicions. I need to know who is responsible, and what they stole from us. What was in the vault? Who had access? What was in the vault? A good question? I don't know. We serve at the pleasure of Core, and they move items in and out as they please. He looks down. I wish I had a better answer, but for now, I am as in the dark as you. My building is a host to great many treasures, but presumably, tonight someone stole our greatest jewel. Prince gestures broadly. Programs with the answers are throughout the tower. I'm hoping that an outsider like yourself may be able to find the truth of all this. I start with the crime scene itself, or the suspect we already caught. A visiting dignitary, another outsider, was present near the event. Grish's men secured the situation immediately. Keep an eye on Grish. This sort can be quick to judge. It would seem to have formed a bad impression of you, and that could be a complication for your investigation. A look crosses Prince's face, something approaching sympathy. We've created temporary accommodations in the library. Give my apologies to Ada when you see her. Not exactly her role to play jailer. I'll interrogate the prisoner. No. I want to interrogate the prisoner because that's like the correct thing to do is, you know, talk to the person who's maybe innocent, just in case. But there's not much I can do. They'll probably still be in prison even if we ask them, and we should still keep them. Anyway, let's just go with the vault. Let's actually see what we're working with. No need to tell me, program. The DOT are independent of my authority. I hope that you also remember your oath of non-interference. Come back here when you have anything to tell me, or any questions I can answer. Why do you want me to remember my oath of non-interference? Kinda weird, Prince. Prince's smile broadens. It's been good to talk to you, Query. I'll make it known to my staff that you're to be supported in your investigation. I believe you can do good work here. There's a lot of like notes that have popped up, like they will remember this. This is my repository. I'll do everything I can to help you. Come to me if you need anything. Leave the office. For the users. Alright, library, vault, lobby, admin office. Let's check out the vault then. That is where the explosion happened, and where presumably something was stolen. A memory of great energy hangs in the air. Oh my gosh. Oh, this looks really cool! Oh, I love the like explosions and like you can tell that their like bridge has like cut across, but it's all like, you know, de-rezzed. The vault, what's left of it at least, is incredible. Hot red light permeates every corner, highlighting the blue cracks and damage of the explosion. The heat of the light is matched only by the cold of the wind blowing through from outside. In the place of the vault interior is the gaping wound of the blast. The light of the city outside is weightless. Slumped in the corner, you see the only other program present, a guard. Exhausted face looks up and back at you. Their clothes are more ornate than Grish's. This isn't one of his guards. A Core honor guard, maybe. What happened? A good question. The guard looks tired, weakened, likely they took some damage in the explosion. Whatever they were guarding is gone. Grish must have left them here to recover. Best to approach this carefully. Mind if I ask you some questions? I know, but I don't think I have any answers. It's only now that you realize, looking at the guard, how young they are. Their hair and uniform are pretty messed up, but this guard isn't more than a kid. A kid left to guard something worth destroying the vault over. A query. I'm Query, a DOT. I'm here to help. Okay. Am I in trouble? I think the trouble's past. Uh-huh. This is going nowhere fast. The guard needs help. Likely this close to the blast, their entire memory is locked out. Kneel down in front of them, gesture towards the identity disc on their back. I'm Query, a DOT. You said that already. I did. If you'll let me, I can... Query, what the fuck? Yeah, I guess I did say that already. If you'll let me, I can skim your disc, help you put up some of the details together, maybe start to figure out what happened here. Query, what the fuck? They understand. You reach over, take their disc, time to make some connections. Alright, ooh, what are those? Blocker errors are temporary cards which take up space, work around them. Okay. When the bar next to a blocker card is full, it disappears. I see. If you're lucky, blockers may turn a gap of 2 cards into a gap of 3. If you'd like to skip a defrag puzzle, you can do so from this pause screen. Oh, nice. Alright, let's do this though. Clear 2 cards of the same value consecutively. Here. Cool. Mm-hmm. 3. Shit. Go back, go back. Go there. Go here. Pop there. No, undo move. Push that. There you are. Nice! Pog! Big Pog. New error blockers, no location vault. Program sat in the branches of a tree, looking down to their friend. Cass, what are you doing? Cass was sitting at the tree's root, fiddling with some fallen data shards, looking at them intently. Cass! Cass looked up from their twigs, locking eyes with their friend in the tree. A smile passed between them, then Cass returned to their twigs, observing their digital nuance, pondering it. He replaced the disc on the guard's back. Cass. My name is Cass. Your name is Cass! Oh, I thought you were talking to Cass. When you met this program, you knew nothing of them. Some programs are mysterious by choice, others have mystery forced upon them by circumstance. There are truths to be uncovered here, and perhaps good reasons why those truths have been suppressed up until now. Your new friend could be the key to tonight's events. Are they the victim, a participant, or something else? It's a start. You smile and help Cass to their feet. What do you remember? Steady there. They make a concerted effort to stay standing and manage it. Unsteady but vertical. Thank you. It feels like the explosion just happened. Light and sound all around me. It was horrible. You look out at the gaping void of the vault and the city lights beyond. Do you remember anything else? Anything at all? Cass steps over to look out over the city with you. Like what? What were you guarding? I don't remember anything in the room with me when the explosion happened. I'm trying to be helpful, I swear. It just keeps slipping through my fingers. Ooh. Explosion fired the memory. You'll need to come back. Work through with them. Your only witness barely remembers anything beyond their name. Do you have any questions for me? 1. What's DOT? You chuckle? You've never been asked that before. Saying DOT tends to make programs less talkative at anything? Have you ever heard of Tron? The program who fought for the users? Cass seemed confused by their own question. Huh, a story I remember being told a long time ago. You smile? Yes, well, my order bases itself on his example, without the allegiance part. You believe in fighting the truth, without fighting for anyone's side. Truth should exist outside of that. At least that's what I was taught. Interesting. So Tron fought for the users, but it seems the DOT are more just fighting for the truth. You walk towards the door. Cass calls from behind you. You're leaving me alone in here? You turn back to them. Rest. We'll work this out. Cass nods and sits back down on the floor. Never seen a core honor guard before? You always imagined they'd be taller. Time to move on. Perhaps the prisoner of the library will have more to say. Perhaps. The library is vast. Undulating, distant platforms hang from the walls. The air is wet, the cold white glow of the space dreamlike. But it is the trees that make the grandest impression. Tall and old and impossibly complex. They curl and swirl and the energy falls before you. Never seen anything like them before? Not at this scale. The founders. 8 programs sat around the table. The shortest leaned forward. We must improve the energy flow. We are vulnerable to any potential outage. We must build more processing facilities. Stockpiles. Stifled laughter from a couple of the other programs. We have more than that we could ever use, brother. Your concern is misplaced. The shortest shook his head. If we do not prepare, we risk everything. Flynn will return. You don't know that. The tallest program stands and gestures with arms out, palms down. Enough. Make your preparations, brother, but do so humbly. We cannot give you all the resources you requested. Do what you can with that which we can afford. It won't be enough. It must be. Your thoughts are interrupted? Beautiful, are they not? Yours and Ada's work is similar. You both construct facts. While the DOT trains you to seek and reconstruct the truth, Ada's function is more creative. Ada builds narratives and stories, histories of the grid, and premonitions of where it might go next. Her work is inspiring and terrifying. The power in this room is infinite. You hope she takes her role seriously. Program stands next to you, glowing white like the room around her. You enjoy my garden? Never seen anything like this before. Her eyes dart across the space. Few have. This place is very special. She kneels down, checking the leaves of a tiny plant at her feet. She turns each over in her fingertips, inspecting them in turn. Content, she stands up, smiling again. I am Ada. Welcome to my garden. It's beautiful. A different smile, something approaching pride. You have the sense she never admitted as much, though. Thank you, Query. You know who I am. Did I say who I am? I did not, in fact, say who I am. This is the greatest library on the grid. It is the centerpiece of the repository. The very purpose of its existence. Before you lies the grand total of knowledge from nearly 2,000 cycles of our society. From the founders to this moment, all of it pristine. Ada walks over to a tree, grand and towering. She reaches out a hand, brushes a leaf, letting its energy fizzle at her touch. Crackle of utter sonic complexity. You've seen trees before, I imagine? Of course. Do you know what they are? They assume naturally an outcome of the grid? The description is accurate, but fails to capture their full function. Trees are data, records of our history, not individuals, but an entire society. They are our memory, at a cultural level. I understand you work with the Identity Disk as part of your investigations? There's a similarity between these forms and that of the data you see in your travel has never struck you as intriguing. She pulls her hand away from the leaf. Your order, the DOT, you do not interfere. You seek truth, but seek to have no impact in the world you investigate. The echoes of your kind in my garden are quieter than most. You believe her? It is as intended. I have questions. I am sure you do. Ask them, take your time, and then I have someone to introduce you to. Multiple points in your investigation, you'll have the opportunity to dig deeper via investigation choices, marked with a magnifying glass. Take your time to ask him as many as you like, then move on. Okay, cool. Any memory loss? She looks confused. There seems to be some of it going around, maybe a link to the explosion? No, nothing. Maybe we were insulated from the bulk of it? The trees blocked the storm. Not all of them survived, though. Some of my saplings, the recent and obscure, seem to have been shattered by the force of the explosion. I may be able to rebuild, replant, but I'm sure we have lost a great deal. You don't have backups? She shakes her head. That would be illegal. Core demand that all curated data remain here in the library, accessible to them when desired. To take anything out of the building would be a crime. I'm sorry for my outburst. It is a blessing you are here tonight. Flynn be thanked. Trees occur naturally while I have a garden. Curious nods, respecting the question. It is one she has been asked before. The data of trees in the wild is rich. They capture all around them, but the noise is also chaotic. Unguided, raucous, even. In my library, I can cultivate the data, refine it, prune it. I can find the truth and preserve it for future generations. You mean you can rewrite it? You could swear you saw a microcycle of frustration cross the tepid serenity of Ada's face. Probably not the nicest thing to ask, no. I can provide lenses, frames. Data cannot lie, but I can help others to read it correctly. You are unconvinced. Yeah. Editing, still editing, no matter what. Editing can never be unbiased. Even the very things you don't say can say a lot. I know my role. I was expecting shelves, books. A laugh. As with Prince's shelves of user entertainments, I don't blame you. So much of our world is contextualized via the users and their arcane and oblique practices. I've been speaking to my guests at length on the topic. It is an irony that they had to cut down their trees and transform them into books. Our method is lossless. How long does it take to learn to read this data? How long did it take you to learn to read the data of an identity disk? To guide programs to the truths they already knew? It takes many cycles to study, but you can't learn much before you find yourself in the field. Precisely, it is the same with my work. As with many things, the library has no value without the ones who can use it. Let's move on. As you wish. Librarian motions towards the center of the library. A platform juts out into the humid air. Please follow me to the observation deck. As you walk, she explains. Under normal circumstances, this is a space of tranquility. The observation deck provides a place to meditate. You consider the knowledge collected here. Knock on the sky, listen to the sound. A Zen thing. Knock on the sky. Ah, student of Flynn. Some truths transcend the speaker. A quote so good that has been marked down in history, written in their doctrine. Some truths transcend the speaker. Indeed, you're in the right place. You continue walking. A bright energy field surrounds the end of the platform. Ada notes your reaction. A safety measure, under normal circumstances, it would be unfortunate to fall from the perch. Without a secure location, an attacked one at least, Grish asks that we make use of it as a temporary prison. Wait, I saw it. You have that right there. I guess we can still see it when we got it from the backside. Nice. It would be an overstatement to call the library a public space, but it is certainly one that is often visited. On a normal cycle, this platform would offer beautiful views to visiting the dignitaries and guests. The inbuilt shield keeping them safe from the great heart of the room. It serves a different purpose tonight, acting as a temporary prison cell for the imprisoned automata. Ambassador Sierra. The shield appears to be successfully holding back the disgruntled program for now. If it was up to you, you'd be encountering Sierra in a more neutral context. Grish had other ideas. I will leave you alone with him. I encourage you to be respectful. This is, after all, an ambassador, a guest in my garden. The man in the energy field looks up as you approach. Sad eyes peer out from a strangely pale face, faceted and lit by two bright eyes. It is a timeless face, and one you can instinctively know has seen a great deal. Sierra. The automata do not allow your kind within their territory, so your knowledge of the sprawl is limited. You don't begrudge them their privacy, but the alien nature of the society makes reading Sierra challenging. Locked up by a Grish upon the discovery of a crime, Sierra is understandably frustrated. But is this frustration in the face of a false accusation, or at being caught? Greetings, program. How you holding up? As well as can be expected. I would prefer to be elsewhere, of course. I should introduce myself. I am Sierra, ambassador for the automata. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm Query, of the DOT. I've been asked to investigate events tonight. I've been told you are a criminal, but I will form my own opinion. You have my word. You nod respectfully. Sierra smiles. Find yourself fascinated by the structure and patterning of his face. The way it contorts in a flawed attempt to mimic a very user expression. You try not to stare. What are the automata? There's something new. Ooh. He notices. Am I your first automata, Query? Yes, I'm sorry for staring. He looks at you quizzically. It can be strange to be exposed to the new. The automata have kept to ourselves for some time. It's reasonable that the rest of society would be surprised by our appearance. In truth, I am proud of the difference. We choose not to look like the users of myth, but walk our own path. Oh, so they're like super atheists. I see. You look user-ish. Stared only because you look transcendent. Ooh, Query. Oh. Both of these. I feel like saying they just said, "Oh, I love being different," and I'm not gonna be like, "Wow," but you look sort of similar. You know, that's not great. Probably not the best idea. You know, that's. So we'll just, you know, we'll put on some of that good old Dano. Call me Riz Avatar, baby. I stared only because you look transcendent. Thank you. This is only a pale approximation of my true form, however, huh? Among your kind, I do what I can to approach the aesthetics of a user. I've been told it makes you more comfortable to be reminded of your myth. The smile broadens. Let's get to the matter at hand. My crimes? Your crimes? You strike a conciliatory pose. It's just you and me, Sierra? I didn't care for Grish's methods either. Sierra nods. Silence hangs in the air for a moment. Let me help you. A look of doubt. I want to believe you, Detective, but I know that your role here is only one of investigation. You're unable to intervene. Your words are kind, but empty. Sierra breaks eye contact, looks down. Prisoner stands. Oh my gosh, you're very tall. He is a giant, almost twice your height. He looms over you. There is great strength there, but also a gentleness to his posture, his movements. You charmed. Ooh! I charmed him! Nice. Nice. I'm charming, baby. I'm charming. I am not your enemy, Query, and I don't believe you are mine either. I will happily answer your questions if you return to me. I will help in every way I can, but I fear I am as ignorant as anybody else here. He points to the door you came in from. Keep Grish and Prince away from me. They have made up their minds. I have no interest in discussing matters with them further. Sarah turns his back to you. Conversation over for the time being. Prince needs to hear what happened here. He does? What do you gotta tell him? Let's go to the lobby real quick. The lobby is empty. Let's not go to the lobby then. Never mind. The office is still as grand and impressive as it was the last time you were here. Prince stands at the window. Grish has returned in your absence, standing next to his master. As you approach, Grish turns to sneer. Prince chuckles and shakes his head. Welcome back, program. Welcome back, program. It's good to... How are things? A shrug. I fear things have continued to slide in your absence. I find myself increasingly forgetful. Some kind of lasting symptoms of the explosion, you think? That seems to be the case. I've heard. Found it profoundly unsettling to be myself, but also have parts missing. I am a program that prides myself on my memory, my user given... But then, you're not... Oh, your beliefs troubled Prince, uh-oh. But then you're a non-believer, aren't you? I suppose you think my gifts are chance. Prince looks out the window. Tonight I am jealous of the programs out there, who continue their ebb and flow untouched by what has happened here. How many programs function entirely in the dark? How many remain ignorant, so peaceful? Isn't this place built to keep them ignorant? Prince recoils. What do you mean? I spoke to the librarian. Then you know the objective is not to hide, but to frame information. Prince wobbles slightly, imperceptibly. Grish notices. Are you alright, Administrator? He straightens. Of course. I'm just a little off balance from tonight's events. I find it hard to focus in on the detective's points and questions. I've forgotten so much from earlier. You can help, program? I can. Then do it, please. Let me put things back together a little. Prince takes the disc from his back, hands it to Grish, who hands it to you. Oh, Jesus. Clear 5 cards of the same suit consecutively. Lock errors are obtuse. They lock cards from being moved or cleared. Oh, shit. You cannot do anything with locked cards until your next move. I see. So these ones are going to be locked. These ones are locked. We need 3, so 3 colors basically. Alright. One of each color. Uh... Here. Oh, good. I screwed up here. That's fine. We'll figure it out. Can we restart? Let's restart. I definitely screwed things up quite badly then. Here. There. Oh, that one's locked out. Okay. This way. Shit. This way. Okay. This one. Fuck! Play for me. There. How does this one work? So this gets rid of the lock. So the lock is connected to the piece itself, not to this slot. What a good IC this is? What flavor? I didn't ask. Oh yeah, I didn't actually, what's it called? There's an unlocked location thing. Let's do this one as well. Shit. Oh god, there's a lot to this. 5 cards of the same suit consecutively. Here. Alright, got that one. Cherry and blue raspberry. It was such a nice day out today. Sun was out. Is that what Florida is like? Pretty much. Did you step outside and just immediately get hit with the crushing weight of the air? Because that's more what Florida is like. Shout out to humidity. No, I had a very pleasant air. Colorado is dry. God. I wish. I've been to like dry heats, and it's always just nice. You know, it's more just the sun is just on you, and it's just so much better. Humidity sucks, man. I can deal with the heat. I cannot deal with the humidity. Walking through a swimming pool, not my idea of a good time. Move these together. Move that over there. Oh, that one's gonna get locked. Should have gone the other way. Did homework on the porch for like 20 minutes. My laptop started overheating. Your eyes twitching? Is? So I'm noticing something is that when my glasses in real life start like slowly falling down my face, which they have a tendency to do, they seem to like block my eyeballs from my camera, which is unfortunate. And I believe that's what causes a lot of the loss in the eye tracking and such. You should fix your glasses. Bend the ends. They're already very bent outwards, not inwards. They are like, I take them off and they look like they should be receiving signals. Outwards? A bit. Oh, yeah. Because of my big old brain, it sort of, you know, needs some space. Yeah, that's outwards. I don't... Okay, well, I mean, bend them down. Down? To hook your ears. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant bend them inwards, like to create greater friction. They're very straight eyeglasses. That's probably why they keep falling down, is that they don't have hooks, actually. They're more of a friction kind of thing. Bending them inwards is... Alright, now that I think about it, that's a dumb thing to say about glasses. But I think, you know, bending the glasses, like, do you even wear glasses? Yes, I wear glasses all the time. Not here with contacts like some traitors. Not convinced, huh? Oh god, I went to contacts right now because my glasses cover my... Ah, I see. Pog, I did it. Delete that message before someone sees. Sure thing, just for you, Rosa. A new rubric? How long did that take? 257 seconds. I like how it was microcycles listed. EFF moment. The orange light of the administrator fizzled. Blinking occasionally, common for programs of his advanced age. His voice croaked as he would ask his last question. Do you understand? He fiddled with the light rings on his fingers, as Prince considered everything he'd been told. Please stop winking at you? I don't know what's causing me to wink. That one was on purpose. That was the first one that was on purpose, by the way, if I've been blinking otherwise. That one was also on purpose. He also ever since the matter he did indeed understand. No grinning? What's wrong with grinning? Ta-da. Would you fix the what? Fix coloring? What coloring? Of your skin? On the guy? Wow, what's wrong with the color of my skin, Rosa? Wow. Looks like Walker skin. Maybe. I've thought about it. Maybe get something that's more alive. But maybe. You can't bear to look at me? What? Also, you said Walker skin. They're called zombies, Rosa. Ah? What are we eyeing? Stop, you're hurting Rick's feelings. It was in that moment the prince decided to de-res his mentor. What the fuck did happen? Let's try eyeing at your Walker face. Oh my god. I can do that as well, if you're wondering. This is how I stare at. This is how I talk to you most of the time. Giant forehead, shut the fuck up, bullet spot. All right. Don't kill yourself. L plus ratio plus you're bald. All right. Not a BFF moment. You started it. I was gonna let it pass, but no. You just had to be like giant forehead. And so did your fake character. But he's my character, and that's what's important, all right? You're real? Are you though? Still haven't met you, so. For all I know, you could just be one of them fancy chat bots. Are you are you what's it called? Chatterbot 2.0? No, you never will. Damn. Oh well. No big deal. No biggie. Anyways. He fiddled with the light rings on his finger as Prince considered everything he'd been told. He had studied under his mentor for 100 cycles, learning everything that could be learned about the repository and its functions. So meeting with Ari and Max though, your best for Neds. Damn, I'll be meeting them too, as they're still my friends. So, you know. I'll just ignore you. No, they're not. What do you mean they're not? How could they not be? You're deciding. You're deciding. You can't decide for them. That's their choice. And they decide, surely, that they would still be friends with me. Surely. Surely? Anyways. He fiddled with the light rings. Yeah, learning everything that could be learned about the repository and its many functions in every sense that mattered. He did indeed understand. He also understood that the administrator hated him. That ego and pride would never allow him to accept Prince as his successor. He was old and fat and utterly useless, taking up space. Space that Prince had earned many times over. It was in that moment that Prince decided to de-res his mentor at the earliest opportunity he knew his function. Anyways, this guy fucking killed his mentor. That's crazy. You hand the disc back to Grish, replaces it onto the Prince's back. Prince stretches, rolling his neck and smiles to himself. Ah, that's better. He turns to face you. So, what is your conclusion of this case? It's too early to say. Yes, quite. I respect your discretion in the matter. How long does this usually take? It'll go faster with fewer interruptions, as long as it takes. Watch your tone, program. Prince tightens. Time is short, and it is important your work here is swift. I am of course comfortable to answer any questions you have of me, or Grish here. Before you resume your investigation, ask as many as you like. Now we'll see how his fellow programs react to his imprisonment. Huh. Not well, I imagine. As you no doubt gathered from our conversation with him, his kind, the automata, stand directly opposed to the sanctity of our civilization. They blaspheme and they mock, and they bring nothing to back up their outlandish claims. They refuse the existence of the users, but can provide no evidence of their absence. It is infuriating. Prince shrinks back a little from his tirade. More of his kind every day, making demands of the rest of us. And sincerely hope they are not foolish enough to start a fight over this. You are uncertain of his sincerity. How long before the explosion did Cass arrive with the item for storage? Barely enough time for us to register the arrival on our systems. Whoever did this, they knew ahead of time. They planned this. It's not good? Points to someone with information about our procedures. Oh, it's far worse than that? It implies the involvement of someone with information about the procedures of Core. Prince winces. Whoever did this knows more about the comings and goings of our fault than I do. Do I hide away all this information? Did Ada not give her usual speech about pruning and refining information? We don't hide anything. We maintain society via careful control of data. It requires a delicate and respectful touch. There is information that can kill, program. That doesn't sit well with you. No more questions. As you wish. Prince's head tilts slightly to the side and he raises 2 fingers to his ear. An incoming message. Ooh? Yes? Where? I see. He looks back to you, a determined flash to his eyes. It would appear we have an issue. Where? Prince appears unshaken. My exterior guards tell me a known criminal has just landed on the building. Her name is Proxy. Have you encountered her before? No? From what I've heard, few do and remain functional. Grish tenses. She's a thief, a pirate. No respect at all for the work done here. Prince goes to his shelves and begins to pack a few items into a small bag. Oh my gosh. This is no coincidence. She must surely be involved in the theft tonight. I am moving to a secure location. Grish, you're coming with me. As you wish. Query for my security. I'm afraid I can't tell you where I'm going. I will still be in the repository, but I will be unavailable. For now. He finishes filling the bag up and seals it. I know your order doesn't engage in ongoing events, that you are forbidden from interfering. But I need you to consider that oath in service of myself, our work, and Core. I need you to go up there and meet this interloper. I need you to find out her involvement in the vault explosion and prevent her from doing any more damage. When the time is right, I will return. I cannot break my oath. No, I will ask questions. That's all I need, for now. Prince chose to trust you. Ooh. I trust you'll make the right decision, if one must be made. He picks up the bag and heads for the elevator. Grish follows behind, disc in hand. She's on the landing pad, Query. I suspect some of your answers are up there with her. the landing pad. Alright, let's go meet this pirate. I bet she's gonna be really cool. Her name is Proxy. She has to be like really cool. And she's a pirate. Oh, she's gonna be really cool. The landing pad juts out the side of the repository like a grid bug clinging unsteadily to a mountain. You're starting to relate to grid bugs. You're no negotiator. You have never interacted with an active crime directly. The disciples of Tron investigate. They do not instigate. A yell tears through the rain, breaks your process. Greetings, program! Independence without function is alien to you. You cannot process the idea of a program who seeks only that which they need without fulfilling a higher purpose. Proxy is such a program driven by survival and ambition, an unpredictable and chaotic element of the system. Proxy is a thief and well known to the DOT. How you deal with her presence will have a massive impact on events. Choose wisely and quickly. Oh god. She stands in the center of the platform. Behind her, a stolen recognizer takes off, soaring back into whichever center corner of the city it's usually hidden. She walks towards you. Her swagger implies casual charm, but you can sense a readiness to strike. Danger may not be present, but it is certainly pre-cached. Pre-cached, I like that. I said greetings, program. A playful anger crosses her eyes. Do you have a name? You first. No, I'm Query. What's up? How's it going? She laughs at you. You're more of a riddle wrapped in an enigma. No, it's... I know. You're DOT, right? Sworn to find truth outside the wheels of power, etc., etc. But it's still a charmingly fitting name. I'm Proxy. I'm sure you've already been told a great deal about me. Why don't you give me your side of it? I'm a scoundrel, a ne'er-do-well, good for nothing. Well, except liberating the property of bigger scoundrels. She does a little sarcastic bow. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I think we're going to be very good friends, Detective. She's toying with you, testing your boundaries. Before you ask me your questions and we get to negotiating what happens next, I have one pressing question, if I may. Go for it. It's less of a question than an observation, really. It unsettles me. My question is, why is this landing pad not secured? No guards, nothing preventing my landing, unloading. My code whispers trap to me. I should have been surrounded by 6 angry programs with discs in hand the moment I set foot on such sacred ground. The word sacred was stressed, ringed for every available drop of sarcasm. Sorry. In hand the moment I sit on such sacred ground. There. Gotta get my acting correctly. No offense, but you're not as scary as the welcome I anticipated. Something happened here? Are the usual programs occupied? You know what happened. I do, but you look so keen on explaining. An explosion tore apart your vault. And when someone like me sees that happen, the facility legendary for its security, I think to myself, maybe there's an opportunity there. And then, when I arrive and see that the guards have scattered elsewhere, I become certain that there's an opportunity. She gestures at you. Me. Me? You're all they had to send up to me, no doubt tightening security around the zealot prince. How is Grish, by the way? You know each other? We used to. We fought together in the war. I think we took wildly different lessons from our time together. The first sign of weakness, a little sadness, crosses her face. Is gone in an instant, partitioned away under layers of bravado. I'm here because I see an opportunity. An opportunity to take something of my own while you're busy chasing around that other thief. More work for me. Yes, I'm happy for you. She in conspiratorially? That's a word. Should I leave you some interesting clues? Maybe some kind of clue for you to unravel. She's working very hard to appear confident. It's almost working. Confident, but out of boasts. Ask your questions then. Tell me what you're going to steal. Data. There are great secrets being kept in this building. One in particular has infinite value. I need it. She smiles, empowered even by the idea of it. You're here to steal a tree? Ah, you visited Ada's garden? Yes, I'm going to steal data gifted to us by our creator. When Flynn created this gift, he left behind code which would empower a program in ways we cannot imagine. Give them abilities beyond anything any program has ever possessed. I will find that code tonight. It's here somewhere. Where? Don't know. I will. Tell me about the war. She looks down. Nothing to tell. A bad time. A time I'd rather forget. Gift the users didn't grant us. I could help with that. She recoils. Keep your hands away from my disk if you want to keep them, program. Are you going to hurt programs tonight? Only those I need to. Those who get in my way. Matter of fact, to those to the point, no bravado. Derezzing is easy for you? She gestures as if throwing her desk. It's all in their wrists. I do what I have to survive. You hold your eyes, no budge. Let's move on. Good, I think I'm done talking. Your tone has shifted, the bravado of earlier has slipped away. She's finished playing. I'm going to walk past you now. I'm going to walk past you and into a repository. Once there, I will do what I have to do to find what I came for. You need to get out of my way. She reaches to her bag, draws her disc. It sparks and shivers with energy. You have no doubt she knows how to use it. I'm not your enemy. Good, don't forget it. A bullying tone, you don't like it, you wonder how she used this power she covets. Then it happens. She moves fast, closing the gap between you, holding her disc to your neck. You feel the sizzle of it brush against you. You instinctively draw your own disc, just like you were taught. You hold it millimeters from her neck. A few particles of her hair turn to light, drift off the platform, sliced by your weapon. You're fast, program. She moves back, adopting a throwing stance. You mirror her. Here, stop, I don't want to fight. I promise you, unless you lower your disc, there will be one. And it will be brief. She stands ready, a stalemate. This moment matters, a choice either way. Drop the disc. No interference. That's our role, right? You open your right hand, dropping the disc to the floor, and if I'm just in the search for the truth, and something gets stolen by proxy, well, I already know the truth then, don't I? She's the one that stole it. There's no need for me at that point. You open your right hand, dropping the disc to the floor beneath you. It clanks metal against metal. Not your enemy, proxy. My job is to investigate, not fight you. She smiles, replacing her disc on her back. I'm glad. Genuinely. She walks over, picks up your disc, and hands it back to you before brushing past to the elevator. Next time I see you, Query, I will have the power of Flynn. I remember the respect you showed me. The elevator doors close. She is gone. Ren continues to smash the landing pad. You stand alone. You did that, which no DOT must ever do. You made a decision. I mean, was fighting her not also a decision? I feel like that would also be a decision. Becoming a dangerous habit tonight. It's so cold out here. Landing pad, admin office. Here's the lobby. The lobby is as you left it. A lot has shifted since you were here before. You feel almost nostalgic. Across the room stands Grish. I've been looking for you. Aren't you busy with Prince? Ha! I've taken a break from babysitting the administrator. I wanted to see if you made any progress. You refused Grish help. I'm not expecting much, but I like to be surprised. But first I need you to clean my disk again, still dropping memories. Prince needs me at the top of my game, and I'm far from it. Of course, whatever helps. Good. It's okay, you weren't expecting a thank you. Grish removes the disc, blows it around his hand, tilting to catch the reflection of the energy falls. I don't trust you, program. Oh, energy falls. Following the Great Drought, Core takes great pride in its ability to collect and refine more energy than the grid needs. These energy falls ostensibly celebrate the enormous resources consolidated by Core in the last few hundred cycles. Energy flows from the top of the repository via the library to the lobby and back again in a cycle representing Core's hierarchical superiority via data management over the population of the ARC server. Such great architectural statements irritate you? They obfuscate and clumsily attempt to distract from more complex truths. You're weak, you don't know your place, you've been a liability since you walked through that door over there. I'm taking a risk letting you work with this, but it's because of how important tonight is. Both finding out what happened in the vault and keeping Prince safe. May have deleted your message movie, but BTDV makes it live forever in my chat. Why does it do that? Don't let it do that. Actually, that's a good one to keep. Never mind. I thought it was an earlier one, but no, that one, it can keep. I'll allow that one. Not finding out what I had in the vault and keeping Prince safe. Don't mistake this for trust. He won't. He hands you the disc. Your hand hovers over the surface. Ignites it. Alright, let's figure this one out. Oh, again. That's another suit. Where they get banned. Oh wait, restart. I gotta do same suits. Let's do that first before we do the rest of it, just so we can get it out of the way. Now, let's get all the reds together. So it says we can get them at least. Do we have a new chat command? No? Why? Testing purposes? That was supposed to be me squishing my eyes, I mean. It really does do nothing. It really doesn't, no. So don't do it. Don't do that one again. Monka SK. Nope, undo. Do this one, because then that can go over there. Oh, I'll leave this. There. 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 Oh my god. Rolled the bike set. One almost ran me over at the beginning, but we're solving a mystery. We don't have time for bikes. Also solving puzzles. Oh my god. All right, 7 of the same suit is quite difficult, huh? It has to be the red because I don't think any other suit has like that many has that many on the board. Bring that over there. Go that way. You go there. You go here. I'll switch that. Bring you there. No, let's go back a bit. This will squish there. No. This will squish that. That will squish that. I feel like we're back to where I started. We'll go this way. And then bring this there. Okay, I think we can start doing this. Did this. I did this. Oh! Nice! 7 of 7. We got the disc color. Whatever that means, I guess. Still don't know yet. It's an unlockable though. We unlocked it. Clap, thank you. Alright, zeros. We need 3. So we can just do that. And we got 3! New disc color purple. And we got a new memory. The tank blast shook the barricade Grish and Proxy huddled behind. They know we're here! Grish shook his head. The soldier was a rookie, a new program unrefactored by the experience of 1,000 disc wars. She never held a friend in her arms as they de-res he had. Keep your head down, they're carpeting the area. Not gunning for 2 nervous programs, they'll move on. A small nod. She dropped to a sitting position and drew her disc, inspecting its contents. I'm a little fragmented. I could use a few millicycles to clean up the damage. Take your time, we're stuck here until this unit moves past. Grish pulled a flask from his shoulder, gulping down energy as he joined Proxy on the ground. After he had downed half, he offered the flask to her. She ignored him, consumed in her disc edits. She was learning, he mused, prioritizing good. They might survive the next few cycles. That clears some of the mist. He frowns. You let Proxy in. I've heard intel that Proxy is moving through the building. My men have been unable to track her exact position, but this isn't good for any of us. There are sensitive things contained here. Secrets? The contents of the programs. All lives are important, right? But Proxy thinks herself above petty de-resing. She'll threaten, but I don't think anyone is in real danger. Except Prince, perhaps. You let a criminal past you. Anything that happens tonight, I'm holding you responsible. Grish still doesn't trust you. Don't trust him either. You know? Or I do. I trust him, but more in a... I actually think he's a lot more honorable. Actually, no. Nah, I don't think he's that honorable. Actually. Never mind, I don't trust him. You'd better hope we capture. Did you hear anything hear about her plans? He was looking for code that gives you superpowers. Yeah, that's basically it. He laughs. That'd be useful. Ask your questions, make it quick. Where's Prince? Grish shakes his head no. I wouldn't tell you if you had a disc to my throat. He's safe is all you need to know. There are parts of this place only I know about. How are your men holding up? Good. They're securing floors throughout the building. I've told them to keep clear of your investigation for now. My priority is securing the repository. If Proxy came, so will others. Maybe you'll help them too. How are you doing? Exactly as well I've been doing in your absence all night? I've been better. You need to get back to Prince. I do. When I see you next, I want better answers to my questions. He gestures towards the elevator. You take the hint and leave. Hopefully you can keep his side of things together. I see. Let's check out the vault. The vault is as much as you left it. Outside, the falling debris of the explosion have stopped. The room has begun to cool from the rain and wind outside. The energy bridge. Crystallization of energy into solid barriers and surfaces is standard on the grid, but some vestigial instinct in your code makes you uncomfortable stepping out onto one. You understand that vertical is ridiculous in this context, and yet it lingers. The bridge is uniquely uncomfortable given its extension across the broken detritus of the vault, taking more risk than you used to. Cass stands by the hole of the vault wall. They look more confident than you remember, more ready. Hello, Query. You okay? They turn to you. Not at all. No, but I appreciate you asking. You reach out into the void. The rain feels peculiar to me. It shouldn't. It's rain. Most common thing on the grid, right? It comes and goes. So why is it so strange? They withdraw their arm, wipe it dry on their robes. It's cold out there. Especially so tonight. That's strange to me too, the sensation. They walk over to you. I apologize, ignore me. Everything feels strange right now. They are clearly still suffering from the damage they took in the explosion. How goes the investigation? Oh my gosh, you are a child. There's a lot of power at play. Still don't know the fundamentals of the case. Not really, we've just been sort of having chats, if anything. No, I've not been much help, have I? You smile in an attempt to reassure them? Hopefully I can help you learn more before that thief causes more trouble. You heard about Proxy? I did, from Prince. You made Grish bring him here to meet me? Apparently he had to see me for himself. He seemed scared. Prince, I mean. Grish seemed to be quite excited by the idea of a fight. It's endlessly fascinating to you how fast information travels in confined spaces. Ironic to see the same in a place so defined by secrecy. You're safe. She's not interested in you. If you say so. You leave it there? Cass seems frustrated. Whatever I was guarding, it's safe to assume I failed at my task. I can't let that happen again. Meaning I want to help you. This is not uncommon among victims of crime. They need to contextualize themselves as active participants by assigning themselves blame, claw back some autonomy. Victims are usually blameless. Sometimes, though. Need to find out who you are. Okay. You nod, they remove their disc and hand it to you. Their hands are shaking. We don't have to do this. Yes, I think we probably do. They smile bravely. I want to know the truth of this just as much as you do. More, possibly. This disc holds an answer. Alright, let's defrag. Fuck. We got locks. Alright. Three of the same value. Interesting. But doesn't mean they all have to be the same value. We could just do like a 3 here. And then this 6 and 6 here. And then 6 and 6 there. Nice. Alright, that's that done. And we need a target of 3. Just only 3 suits here. Let's squish this down. Squish that over. Ooh, no, undo. Hashtag not done. Hashtag... Oh, what? Okay. Why was that not done? Nope. 6 and 6? You did 3, 6, 6. It doesn't have to be the same. Does it have to be the same value? I was thinking it was like, you know, rather than doing. So the way it works is that you can match them up between suit or number. I thought it was just changing the value resets the counter. I see. Okay, guess I was wrong on that one. Let's restart then. Like if I do this 3 and 3, and then this 4 and 4. Yeah, that changes the counter. Damn. That makes things a lot more difficult. Gotcha. Alright. Man, why couldn't we have just been nice today? Come on, guys. Alright. Let's pick a number. Pick a number. 8? I'm seeing a lot of 8s on the board. Maybe we'll stick to 8. Although it's more just... Maybe 7? Where's the 7? There's another 7 there. I think we can bring the 7 up to there pretty easily. We'll do 7s and 8s. Let's see what gets closer. Wait, we have to do it 3 times, so that would be 1. We need like 4 7s and 4 8s to make that work. Gotcha. There's another 8. There's only 3 7s on the board, so we're not doing 7. It has to be. It's 8. We're bringing 8s together. There is a 7 over there. All right, 7 7 7. All right. Well, we have to bring the 8s together. God, this is gonna be a pain. That is not what I wanted to do. Go back, yes. Squish those together. Bring this one over. Just to make sure. 8 check. 1, 2, 3. Did I squish an 8 at some point? Just without thinking, possibly. Alright, oh, it's random! Ah, okay. Cool. Cool. Let's stop resetting. And just undo backwards. No more restarting. 1 2 3. 1 2. What do we see a lot of? A lot of 7s. 1 2 3. All right, maybe not 7s. 1 2. 6s. 1 2 3. 0s. 1s. 1 2. That definitely not 1s. 2. 1 2 3. Alright, maybe we'll restart one more time. New seed, new seed. Alright. Six, six, 9, 9, 9, 8, 8, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3. Really? We need 3 since it doesn't have to be the same number to push them out, and only the number getting pushed out matters. Oh. Oh. That makes a lot. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Clear 3 cards of this. I thought it was like do 3 value matches. That. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, this is now doable. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I got this. All right. So, let's bring 3 to. We can bring these 3s together very easily. Oh, but when that wall moves, it's gonna be a problem. It's not going to be a problem. Because this wall is going to move. And then we can squish the 2. Oh, wait. Yeah, squish the 2. Do that. And then that. Nice. Shit. Nope. Gotta get rid of that last 3. There we are. And then squish that. And then squish that. Done! Nice. Easy. Wow, I really overcomplicated that immensely. Okay, now we're good though. Now we're pog. Now we can do what we want. Just a bit. Just a tiny bit. You know, I was just only slightly asking for the impossible. That was annoying walls. That's really got in the way of my flow I had there. Go back a bit. Squish that. Squish that. We gotta consolidate. Move that over. Squish that and squish that. We got 3. Nice. I got the red light this color. Nice. Still don't know what I can do with that. I'm sure that's probably just like there's like an endless mode on the main menu, so I guess you can just like infinitely play the puzzle game, and that's probably what the disc colors are for. Anyways, memory from cast. This is a cast memory. White light, heat rippling outward in waves. Light punches past white into a brightness unimaginable. Rumble growing into a roar, transforming into a scream. Silence, darkness, a hum, a sizzle, everything, nothing. Didn't teach us much. Their eyes flash as they sink. Silence. Everything okay? They look at you. No. They look uncomfortable, frustrated. I don't know what was stolen or who stole it or... It's my fault, maybe. It's not. You did your job. I just can't do mine. Tears fall in Cass's eyes. I want to be helpful. I really do. I want to be the one who cracks the case and finds out what happened here with you. And there's something in there. I'm missing it. You know they want to help. This is heartbreaking. Cass falls to their knees, shaken, and kneel down to join them. I don't remember anything or anyone. I was alone in the vault. Explosion. Oblivion. Wait. Did they? You were in the vault? I thought you were outside the vault, like guarding it. Yes, of course. That's where you found me. Well, you were on the bridge, so I guess you were here. You were alone. Realization dawns on Cass's face. I was alone. New information, not much, but something to build on. You were alone in the vault. What if the thing brought in was the bomb? Did the core bomb the vault? Or maybe the bomb was placed... I mean, Cass is young... Oh, God. Would Cass really be working in the vault? They are a literal child, it seems. And there's a bit of an emphasis on, like, new people being less religious. Younger folk being less religious, which is what the core is. Okay. I have to ask, did you set the explosive? Let's not ask that. That's a dumb ass question. Alright. Come on, Query. Query better. Explosion was triggered remotely? Cass considers. Maybe it's possible. Or maybe from outside? Doesn't add up yet. Yell Cass back to their feet. We'll get there. I hope so. It's a way away, though. For now, they're right, but you have something to ask the others about for now, at least. Do you have any suspects at all? 1. Sierra. But something seems off, doesn't it? You'll get to him soon. Cass nods and looks back to the window. Think I'd like to be alone for a while, if that's okay? I have to try and remember something more? Anything, really? Respect the request and leave as the vault continues to cool. Alright, I think we'll leave it off there. We did a lot. We made a breakthrough. We've got our first actual lead. And that lead, it's probably Cass. Or the core. One of them. Maybe both. Ooh. But yeah. This game is cool. It's more Tron content in the year 2023, which is insane. Or me. That'd be crazy. That'd be a good twist, though. That I did it, but I didn't know I did it because I, the player, didn't do it. But in fact, Query did. Because me and Query are two different people. Whoa. Oh? But yeah, this is good. It's new Tron content. I love the heavy emphasis on the religious aspect of Tron. It's something that's quite often like skipped over when others sort of when you know people sort of talk about Tron, but it is like Tron. The original Tron is a very religious movie, so I'm glad to see that here. And it's more Tron in 2023. And it looks like Tron, and it isn't somebody just putting on glowing lights on things, and it sounds like Tron's, and it's just good. I like it. I like it. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Adios, sayonara. Good night.